Hello and welcome to the CSIDC Virtual Field Day. My name is Gursahib Singh and I'm the current Research Director of Irrigation Crop Diversification Corporation. Behind the camera we have our Research Associate, Ted Nodge. So we are standing on the Agri-Food Canada land. It's the Kanapik site. So for this field day, we are highlighting one of the barley study we are doing this year. This year we have multiple barley studies which are funded by Sask Barley. We have steps. We are looking at different fertilizer rates, different fungicide application timing to control diseases in barley, and then we are also playing around with PGRs, the plant growth regulators. And this study, this study I thought it would be interesting to highlight for this field is it's a potassium study, and the reason I'm talking about potassium, or I thought it's interesting, it's called, we don't have potassium is not limited in our soils, but still I thought it would be interesting to show this or highlight this for this field day. For this study, we are going into the second year of this study. So it's funded through ADOPT and Sask Barley. So it's a study we are looking into potassium application in both wheat and barley. The treatments for this study, so it's a 4-hour study. There are multiple 4-hour studies for nitrogen and phosphorus. So there have been few 4-hour studies for potassium, but nothing recent. So we thought let's do a 4-hour study on potassium and look for the response in wheat and barley. So by the 4-hour study I means right source, right rate, right source, right time, and right placement. So for this study, the treatments we have, or the treatment list we included in this study is we have 8 treatments, including the control. We didn't apply any potassium. Then we had a seed placed potassium and side banded. For the seed placed and side banded, we had 3 treatments. We started with 10 kg of potassium per hectare. Went with second was 20 kg of potassium per hectare. Third was 30 kg of potassium. So seed placed and side band. That's 6 treatments. And for the 7th treatment, we went with both side band and seed placement. 20 kg of potassium per hectare for side band, and 40 kg of potassium for seed, 20 kg for seed place and 40 for side band. So this is the second year of this study, and we saw some interesting results last year. Before I start digging into results, I just want to highlight what all roles potassium has. Potassium plays within the plant growth, or which help the plant. So there's been anecdotal research or anecdotal claims by a few of the farmers that potassium helps. It prevents lodging. So one of the reasons we went ahead with this study, or objective, was to look at the different potassium application and look whether it improves lodging. Because potassium, it regulates the cellular formation within the cells. That means if there's a good uptake of potassium within the plants, the internodes, they would be thicker in diameter. Ultimately, it would prevent lodging. Second role of potassium within the plant is it also affects the quality of the barley, especially barley, not so much in wheat. For the barley, it can improve the plumpness of the barley, which is one of the quality which is required for the malt barley. The better the plumpness, the more or the better you get the malt quality. And the other potassium, the interplant cellular thing that potassium regulates within the plant, is that it also regulates the water uptake or water evaporation or transpiration from the cells of the plant. So potassium, it is one of the ions which is part of the guard cells of the stomata. So stomatas, those are the openings which are throughout the leaves on the leaf surface, and opening and closing of stomata is usually regulated by the guard cells. So stomata, it helps in breathing, helps in evapotranspiration. So potassium plays an important role in regulating the opening and closing of the stomata. So getting back to the results, so this study, we went ahead last year was the first year, and we had 6 agriam sites participating on this study. Out of the 6 agriam sites, ICDC was the only site where we saw a response of potassium in barley. Out of the 6 sites, including ICDC, there wasn't response of potassium on wheat. So for barley, for barley response at ICDC site, what we found was the control as compared to the treatments, like there's no potassium to all the other 7 treatments. There was an average, like if we average all the treatments, there was a yield response of 17% as compared to the control. So we did saw some yield benefits. Last year, 2021, we all know it was a drought. Water was limiting. There wasn't much moisture available for the crop. So lodging, it wasn't. I wasn't expecting lodging last year with those limiting factors, and with that heat, the crop never grew, or didn't like that heat, and it never grew that tall. So we didn't saw any lodging. We looked at the quality parameters like plumpness, proteins. Our plumpness, most of the treatments, they were better as compared to the control. Same as protein, the control and the treatment the control had slightly higher protein as compared to the treatments, but there wasn't a big difference. The results, they were not significantly different from each other. So this year, this is the second year, and again we have 6 agriam sites participating on this study. If we look around it, if you can go around on the plots, we have the wheat plots here, and up on the corner we have the barley plots. We are not seeing any visual difference between the treatments. It was the same last year. There wasn't any visual difference, but ultimately when we harvested, we saw a yield difference of 17%, which is hard to miss visually in the plots. But for the results for this year, we had the same weather conditions in July, later part of June and July, as compared to similar to 2021. We didn't receive much rainfall. The irrigation, the only water source was irrigation at our site. Just if I have to guess for the results for 2021, I think we would see the similar response in barley, but I'm not guessing that for wheat. And other thing I want to mention that there's been a research, previous research on barley, with both in wheat and barley. Gary, who was the research director at ICDC, he was part of that research, and he found that response for potassium in wheat could be found every 5 years, but for barley it could be every 2 years. So I'm just hoping we would see the similar results, but I'm not pressing or promising anything for the response in barley. Apart from that, the plots look good. There's no height difference. There's no lodging. Again, we didn't have much rainfall. It was just the precipitation, it was just the irrigation which helped the plots to keep them wet. And once we have the results, we will compile the report and put it up at the ICDC website, and we will also try to highlight the results at the coming extension units. Thank you.